Hi, my name is Wyvern Von Eldritch, but you guys can call me Wyvern, and today I will be doing my second ever Transformers figure review, which is, fantastic, because people on my TikTok were asking for me to do more after my last one, which was the 2022 RED series knockout figure. I didn't expect anybody to like that video, but I'm now currently at 50 subscribers, which is great. I'm glad that you guys like hearing me yap. Anyways, for today's video, I will be reviewing the, I believe, 2023 Transformers EarthSpark Deluxe Class Bumblebee figure. Now, he's one of my favorite characters in the entire show, particularly the first season, which is the only season that I bothered watching, because it was the only season that I know is actually worth watching. Anyways, the figure for this guy, I have a lot to say about him, so be sure to, stick around and just listen to me yap for, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but, yeah, let's get into it. Starting with the mold, I think he looks absolutely fantastic and near identical to how he's supposed to in the show. Could just be me, but, I think he's supposed to be a slightly more, yellow shade. He's more like a mango orange in the figure as I'm looking at him. Could just be me, but sometimes the lighting of the show makes him look like a sunshine yellow. Proportioning is, of course, near spot on due to transformation and his alt mode. There are going to be some discrepancies, but those are always overlooked from in just my case, my opinions. My favorite part of it has got to be the face sculpt. I love the amount of detail that was put into creating it. It looks absolutely beautiful, and he looks so adorable. My least favorite part would have to be the back kibble. Of course, the back kibble is the worst of it, usually with any Transformer figure, but the back kibble is especially rough on this one, and I'll get to that during transformation. But overall, love the bot mode, solid 9 out of 10 for me, and he has wheels that actually spin when he's in his car mode, which we'll get to later, of course. Now, moving on to articulation. He is a deluxe class figure, so don't expect much. I didn't. There are some things that I'm just a wee bit disappointed in, but that's just my personal opinion. Starting with the head, he can kind of look up, but also not really. He mostly just looks down. And even then, he can't really do that much. He can look right and left. It's a very tight ball joint, which I appreciate, because he can go 360. Hold on, let me just... Whoop. Wait, there we go. He can go 360 just like that. Going on to the shoulders, the wings that become the doors of the car and car mode can go flat out like that, at an angle, or flat out like that. I personally like to have them at a bit of an angle. I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing. Moving on to his shoulders, I have to turn him around for this. He does have a small... Does the other side actually have better lighting for this bullet? Nope, it's this side. So, he has a small hinge joint here and a ball joint here. The hinge joint allows his shoulder to go out like that and down like that. And, of course, the ball joint allows for 360 rotation. Then moving on to the arms and elbow, flipping it again, that hinge joint there and that ball joint allows his arm to straighten out to about that much before it stops working without the elbow joint interfering. And then it just goes all the way back to about the same thing without the plastic here interacting with the plastic here. Straightening back down, of course, because of the ball joint for the elbow, it can go 360. And it can, of course, fold in by about that much without any plastic interfering, besides, of course, the wheel of the car. And it can actually go a little bit further. Nope, it can't. Okay, so that's just about that much. And then, of course, it straightens back out and even goes a little bit more backwards than it's supposed to, which is, I guess if you want to break his elbows, you can. Moving on to the wrists, they are on a very simple hinge joint because as per transformation, they have to fold into the empty space that is the forearms. He has no waist swivel, which is disappointing. I really like it when figures have waist swivels, because then it just leads towards better posing. Going on to the hips, I'm going to have to put his arm out for this moment. So he can go up by about that far. The plastic here interacts with the plastic here and stops any further movement. He can flatten it back down. The plastic here interacts with the plastic here, stops any further movement. He can kick out by about that far. The plastic here interacts with the plastic here. And he can go back by, without the kibble interfering, about that far. The plastic here interacts with the plastic here. Now, as for the legs, he has a little slit in both thighs because of transformation, so his legs can go 360 with that little, I think this is called a swivel joint. Then we have, of course, the knee guards, which become the stoplights of the car. They can tab in and out of the knees, and the reason for that is because this hinge joint that he has in both legs allow his legs to do this because of transformation. It can lead towards some pretty cool action poses if you want the more extreme ones, which I personally, I don't like to do it, but y'all can if you want to. Going down to the ankles, he has a 360 ball joint, so 360 ankle movement. He can go forwards, he can go backwards, it can go left, it can go right, and because of, ignore that, and because of a small, let me see if I can get the camera, there we go, and because of a small hinge joint in both ankles, because of transformation, he can move his ankle forward and backwards. And that's just pretty much it for bot mode articulation, which I decided to give a, let me review my notes again, a 7 out of 10. Once again, I would prefer a waist swivel, and I would prefer wrists that could rotate, but it's not the end of the world given, you know, the quality of the figure and the class of the figure. It is what it is. It could definitely be worse, but for what it is, I still think it's pretty good. Now, okay, accessories. This is where I this is where it kind of fails for me a little bit. Here's the thing. Bumblebee is part of a series called the Build-A-Figure series, which is what Cyberverse did with McAdam, where you could buy, I think it's like 5 different Cyberverse figures, and then you could use them to build Cyberverse McAdam. He wasn't a transformable figure, he was just there if you wanted him. Bumblebee is also part of that line, but for the EarthSpark variants, of course, and his Build-A-Figure piece is for Mandroid, the main villain of Season 1. And the piece that he has is Mandroid's left arm. Let me see if I can actually get a better angle in that so that I'm not obstructing. There we go. His piece is, without moving the camera too much, there we go. His piece is Mandroid's left arm. It's just a solid piece of plastic, the only articulation being the hinge joint here and the unconnected ball joint here, which is, you know, a little bit of a disappointment because he only gets one accessory besides that. And that accessory, it's not even for him, so I don't really count it as an accessory in my rankings. And that would be this adorable little blaster. Oops, I'm dropping everything today. That would be this adorable little blaster gun that he uses to sign an autograph for Alex Malto. I personally, again, it looks exactly like it's supposed to in the show. He has 2 little pegs on the blaster gun and a little peg in the center. The center being the one that allows you to tab it into one or both hands, if you want to switch between the left and the right, to which I will just demonstrate how that goes. There we go. Just making sure it sticks in. And then he has a little blaster gun just like that. This is why I'm disappointed now. One, given what you pay for this guy, which we'll get into later, he should have come with more accessories that were specifically geared towards him. I haven't seen Seasons 2 and ongoing of EarthSpark, and I've heard that we're getting a Season 4 in 2026, so I don't know what other weapons or accessories he could have come with, but at the very least, I would have liked a secondary blaster. I just kind of feel like it would have added on to, you know, the idea of him being able to use both hands to shoot laser beams at whoever he's fighting. But that's it for accessories, so I'm gonna give accessories a solid 3 out of 10, because the only other one that he comes with, like I said, it's not even for him, it's just a Mandroid arm. So now that we are done with the main bot mode aspects, we are now going to move on to, objectively, the worst part of the figure, which is transformation. Starting with the back kibble. Bear with me here, this is gonna be a big problem. Here's the thing, this, again, the transformation, it's not even complex, like at all. But the back kibble makes it such a hassle, because whether or not we like to admit it, these are toys geared towards children, okay? As much as we adults, we enjoy collecting them, we enjoy having little figurines of our favorite Transformers characters, these are for children. These are for, like, 5-year-olds and above. Bordering 16, I think, without it being too cringy. I don't know. Anyways, this back kibble is the worst part of the transformation, and overall the worst part of the bot mode itself. And I will demonstrate that right now. So, what you want to do is you want to start by folding this back kibble out. By taking, I don't know if you guys can see it from here. You can. See that long gray piece right there that's hidden behind his neck? You're supposed to use that to push this forward, push this up and over his head so that you can fold this out. But it almost never does that, or at least it never works for me. And I will demonstrate that now. If what happens to me happens to you, don't panic. I've heard that it's a semi-common issue with the figure. So anyways, getting into transformation. Finally getting into transformation. Gently attempt to unfold the back kibble by doing what I said. And there he goes. Okay. Give me a minute. Gotta go get him. Okay, so I got him back from beyond the ether. If what just happened to you happened to me, although granted I'm sure that he didn't just fly out of your hands, don't panic, it's not that big a deal. Again, I've heard it's a semi-common issue. Just make sure that your back kibble is now folded out completely like so, and then gently with some pressure, put this back onto this, as I will demonstrate. If I can just, there we go, just like that. Good as new. Then you're gonna wanna take the back kibble, push it all the way forwards, flip him over, shoulders, rotate them upwards so that they are at a 90-degree angle. Take the wrists, fold them into the forearms. Rotate the wrists so that they are facing outwards. Now what you want to do, gonna want to do, take this peg in his forearm and tab it into, let me see if I can get the camera to focus so that you guys can see that properly. You guys see that hole that's hidden in the very corner of his shoulder right there? If the camera could just focus. Please focus. Please, 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 please. Oh, for the love of God. Okay, actually, there we go. That lighting makes it a little better. That little hole right there, you're going to want to put this peg into that little hole. And I will show you how I did that because it took me a bit. I did not get it the first try. And it made the car mode look kind of ugly. So I'm going to gently... Excuse me. I'm going to gently push this in and then tab it in like so. It should be a near seamless motion, although because I'm me, there we go. That did it. So it should look like that when you've done that. And then, of course, do that with the other side. Of course, be patient and be gentle. This is key. This is key. There we go. Okay. Now, because of the front of the car, it's pulled all the way forward, you want to take the shoulders, gently pull them forward. You're going to want the little tabs here of the windshield to just be under the empty space of the hood. You're going to want these pegs right here on both sides to tab into the, let me see if I can get the camera to show it. These little holes here on both sides of the car. Be sure to be gentle with your pressure. It's not that hard, but, you know, sometimes mine doesn't want to cooperate. So I kind of have to, there we go. Just like that. If you want, you can fold the car back out because, you know, the little tabs here, they peg under the empty spaces of here. I personally, I would save it until we do the legs, which I'm going to get to right now. So, coming down to the legs, fold them out a little bit with the hips because this is, you don't want the back kibble getting in the way when you do this. So, first step of the legs, take the feet, turn them around, push them forward, and gently tab this peg right here into this hole on both sides. There we go. And now with the other side. If I could just... There we go. And then you're going to want to take the shin guards, fold them out so that they're not tabbed in. And then you're going to want to take the thighs, turn them 180, just like that. Other side, 180, just like that. And then using the hinge joint, which this leg is already ahead of me on that, gently fold the legs in like that so that the wheels go from being on the outside, from the inside to back on the outside. Then you're going to want to straighten the legs, make sure that they're even, because you want these 4 pegs, 1, 2, 3, 4, to tab into these 4 spaces in the back kibble. So it should look just like that. Then you want to bring the shin guards down. That's just the stoplight. And then this is going to be a little bit tricky. Maybe not. I could just be stupid. You want to tab this peg. Sorry, I wasn't showing it. This peg here into this hole here. At the same time, you want to tab in the legs this peg here into this hole right here. And then you also want to tab in the peg on the door here into the hole in the foot there. So, you know, sometimes it snaps right into place for me, like that one, and then sometimes it doesn't, but it's okay. So, I'm just going to gently, gently, come on, oh, gently, gently. There we go, that's 1, and then that's 2. There we go, and then there you have your little Bumblebee muscle. Oop, the camera's not focusing. There you go, now we have your little Bumblebee muscle car alt mode. Again, the car alt mode itself, 9 out of 10. Looks near identical to how it's supposed to in the show, and I'm not sure if it's going to show properly. If you gently push him along any surface, his wheels do spin a little bit. It's not great, but they do spin, which kind of, you know, it lends towards the illusion of him being able to drive away and speed down a racetrack if you want to roleplay that with your other figures. I'm not sure how y'all do that. I will say this, though, something super cool, and we'll get into this later with accessories. You guys see these little tab marks on the hood, the top, and the, I guess, the trunk of the car? It's because he has a little blaster right here that looks exactly like the one that he has in the show when he gives an autograph to Alex Malto. And like I said earlier, these little pegs right here can tab into any of these 6 spaces, forwards or backwards. I like to do it forwards because backwards he's kind of shooting himself, so forwards like that on the front, then forwards on, and I don't know why, for me, getting it in the back is a little harder, but the back is just like that, so it's on the front of the car now. And then finally we have, oh wait, now it's stuck. Oh wait, there we go. Now we have it on the back of the car, just like that. So there are like 3 different options for that. So that's that for the transformation. I'm gonna give it a solid 4 out of 10. The back cable completely ruins it for me. It's so clumsy. And again, I'm scared, or not scared, but I'm concerned that if a child were to do the exact same thing that I just did and have it pop off, they might be afraid that they broke the figure, you know, things like that. It's an unnecessarily clumsy aspect of the transformation, but the bot mode itself does look good. I definitely, again, the color is my main gripe, but that's always just, you know, that could just be me being picky. Let me transform him back so that we can continue the video. If you guys want to transform him back with me, go ahead. If you didn't do anything, it's cool. Let me actually do this in a completely random order. Yep, actually, nope, yep, I 100%. This is exactly what I'm talking about, people. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But it's okay. Not the end of the world. At least it's an easy fix. So, turning that back around, turning that back around. Ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba. There we go. Coming on down to the shoulder, then I'll gently untab the arm. There we go. Now with the other side. There we go. Take out the wrists. Rotate down. Take out the wrists. Rotate down. Rotate. Rotate. And of course, if this happened to you like it happened to me, don't worry about it. Just gently fold this, and then if you can, oh so carefully apply gentle pressure so that you can put it back to where it's supposed to be. Here, here. This could take me a while. Give me a minute. Okay, there we go. Gentle pressure. And that should be like that. And now he is back in his little bot mode. Now, for accessories, like I said before, he has a little blaster gun. And then he has a little mandroid arm. What's next? What's next according to my notes? Car up mode. Ah, yes, scaling! Scaling is, compared to some of the other EarthSpark toys, not great, obviously, you know, especially when it comes to figures like Megatron and Optimus. But it is what it is, you know, it's not god-awful. Certainly not. And to demonstrate that, I will have him standing next to my EarthSpark Soundwave, who I will also be doing a review of later on. Now, of course, the scaling isn't good or accurate at all, because Soundwave is a stealth bomber and Bumblebee is a muscle car, but they don't look bad standing next to each other in the slightest. I really like the way that the blue contrasts with the orangish yellow. It's just 2 like colors that just mix so nicely visually. Anyways, moving him aside, I will now be bringing in another Bumblebee figure that I have, although he's technically not Bumblebee yet. Here, I have the Cogless Yellow Park B127. They're basically about the same height, you know, a little bit of difference because of Bumblebee's horns and the EarthSpark figure, but that's just that. Moving on to a slightly larger figure, I'm gonna have to probably move the camera back for this one. He's a bit of a biggin. Let me actually move the camera back first, see if that helps. I have my Transformers animated Blitzwing, which is a far more accurate scaling if EarthSpark Soundwave were this big, or if Optimus were this big, or Megatron, or any of the other larger bot mode characters. So yeah, that's pretty much that for scaling, which, you know, scaling is completely subjective depending on the toy line, the continuity, and the figure itself, the class of it. So I'm just gonna say for now that scaling is, let's give it a 6 out of 10. Scaling is actually Yep, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Because it's a deluxe class figure with, like, several other EarthSpark Deluxes, even though the character should be, if the scaling wants to be accurate, at least a Voyager, or at least I would think that. Pricing. Final piece pricing. I don't like this guy's price. He's sold for $19.99. If you guys want to go get him, feel free. I would never recommend this guy to anyone. For $19.99, it's absolutely ridiculous, especially considering what you get in return, which is just the figure itself, Mandroid's arm, the blaster, and of course, the transformation instructions. Would I pay $19.99 for this guy? Absolutely not. In a million years, I would never do that. Thankfully, I didn't have to. I managed to get this guy at Ross for like a solid 40% discount. And I would highly suggest that everyone else do the same. If you can find this guy online, secondhand market, I would highly suggest that you don't pay more than $10 before tax and shipping. Ideally, you guys don't want to pay more than $15 after tax and shipping, but of course, with how prices are raising and, you know, fees are getting higher and higher, it could be hard to find this guy for, like, less than, I say, maybe, actually, no, not hard necessarily, but I definitely wouldn't pay more than, objectively, $10. If you really want to push it, I wouldn't pay more than $15.99 for this guy. It's such a disappointment because the figure itself is absolutely adorable. I genuinely like it. And again, like EarthSpark Bumblebee, one of my favorite characters in the show, and he's honestly one of the better written Bumblebees in my opinion throughout a lot of the Transformers continuities that we've seen recently. But, yeah, that's just my final take on this figure. I will be doing the other figures soon enough, and that's pretty much it. I shall see you around.